Chapter 6: Economic, Social, and Cultural Impact of the British Rule. The British rule had a major impact on the economic, social, and cultural life of India. British goods were allowed entry in India without paying any custom duty, but duty was levied on the Indian goods sent to England. This policy of British was called one-way free trade policy. Major impact on the economic, social, and cultural life of India. Ruin of artisans and craftsmen. Stagnation and deterioration of agriculture. Lack of development of modern industries. Plantation industries. Poverty and famines. Drain of wealth. Indian handicraft industry, which was famous all over the world since ancient times, collapsed due to competition with British machine-made goods. Moreover, British goods entered India without paying of any custom duty. The gradual disappearance of Indian rulers who were the main customers of Indian handicrafts also gave a big blow to these industries. The ruin of Indian handicrafts was reflected in the ruin of the towns and cities which were famous as manufacturing centers of handicrafts like Dhaka, Surat, and Murshidabad, and many other. Exploitation of peasants, excessive land revenue demand, and overcrowding of agriculture led to stagnation and deterioration of agriculture. Indian peasants, highly taxed by the government and exploited by the moneylenders, were too poor to bring about any improvement in the production techniques. Better seeds, cattle, manure, or fertilizers were beyond their reach. The British government also took no interest in improving and modernizing agriculture. Most of the modern Indian industries were owned by the British capitalists. They were interested in investment in India because labor was cheap, raw materials were easily available, and there was a ready market. The emerging Indian capitalists had to compete with the British capitalists. British capitalists in India got desired bank loans and railway freight charges. Indian capitalists had to take loans at a high rate of interest. The British government did not give any financial help to the newly established Indian industries and neglected technical education. There were very few engineering colleges or polytechnics in our country. Indian industrialists demanded protection from the tough competition from British industries. They demanded that British industrialists must pay import duty for bringing their goods into India. Between 1920s and 1930s, the British were forced to give protection to Indian industries due to the agitation and pressure by nationalist leaders. The First World War gave a boost to Indian industries. Around 1750, India was the largest producer of cotton textiles. Indian textiles were sold in Southeast Asia, West, and Central Asia. From the 16th century, European trading companies began buying Indian textiles for sale in Europe. Under the British, coffee, tea, and indigo plantations were started. All the plantations were owned by the European planters. In these plantations, the laborers were mostly Indians, bonded laborers who were very badly exploited. The British economic policies led to extreme poverty for the Indian masses, who further suffered due to frequent famines. From the very beginning of the British rule till its end, the British drained away wealth from India in various ways. The British took back to England the enormous fortune that they extorted from Indian rulers, zamindars, and merchants. The British used India's wealth to buy Indian products which they exported out of India and made profits. India's resources were used to raise the army which was used to conquer India and to fight emerging powers outside India. This army was used in the world wars too. Thus, British also exploited the military resources of India. Humanitarian measures, social reformation, development of the means of transport and communication, introduction of modern education. Social reformation. The most important humanitarian measure taken by the British in India was the ban of the sati when Governor General William Bentinck declared it a crime to be punished with utmost severity. Female infanticide, or the practice of killing a female child at the time of birth, was also prohibited by the British. Another important act passed by the British was the Widow Remarriage Act 1856, enabling Hindu widows to remarry. Development of the means of transport and communication. A very positive impact of the British rule was the introduction of modern means of transport and communication. The British introduced steamships and started improving the roads. They started constructing roads to link all the major cities, ports, and markets of the country. A modern railway system was built by the British. The British also established a modern postal system and introduced the telegraph. By introducing the means of transport and communication, British interconnected India and promoted unity among Indians. Introduction of modern education. The person responsible for introducing Western education in India was Lord Macaulay. As a result of the spread of modern Western education, the Indians got rational, democratic, and secular ideas. They were the first to question the British rule and became leaders and organizers of the national movement. Western education also gave the educated Indians a common language for communication. English became the medium of communication between Western educated Indians coming from different parts of the country.